Today is a real chill day for me as far as doing videos, but I just did a mashup of videos from the different employees of YouTube, as well as from other larger content creators on the new system that is going on. I did this so it can kind of answer questions that a lot of people were having far as the new system, or if it is quote unquote a new system. And yes, in fact, there is a new system. The reason why a lot of people are probably not aware of what's actually happening is because the way the new system is set up, the new AI machine learning system, which is also categorized by YouTube as the large let me get it right, large language model versus the small language model system. And in the old system, it was based off a small language model. This is a new, more updated, advanced system, which is basically controlled by AI. And in the old system, it was more controlled by the people. In the new system, the people does have a say-so as well. But far as how the material get out to the viewer, and we are all viewers, regardless if you're a content creator or not, all people on this platform view something at some point or not. And hopefully if you are a content creator, you're actually viewing people's stuff, because how could you want somebody to watch your stuff if you're not watching other people's stuff? So typically, if you are truly into what the business form of YouTube, you will be a viewer and or supporter as well as a content creator. So therefore, if you're not watching this material, it will not be brought to your forefront. So a lot of times when I do these videos that I know I've researched on for months before I actually upload it, I take that into consideration when I am talking to people.
The product team for growth and discovery at YouTube.
So how does the recommendation system actually work?
So the first thing that creators should understand is that the recommendation systems are really centered around each individual viewer. So oftentimes creators will say, hey, the recommendation system is pushing out my video to people.
Or why isn't it pushing out my video to
yes,
people?
they may ask that. And the way it works is it isn't so much about pushing it out as much as it's pulling for each viewer. So when you open the homepage, YouTube is going to say, hey, Renee's here. We need to give Renee the best content that is going to make Renee happy today. It's very much centered around each individual person and ranking the videos for them, as opposed to looking at each individual video and trying to figure out who might like it.
So there could be videos, like a video could have these absolute metrics, like its click-through rate, its view duration, all of that, but you might like it and I might not, and you would consider that when you recommend it.
Yeah, so a lot of creators, they look at their analytics and they're very focused on their aggregate performance because that's the easiest thing that we can kind of present. But the way the system's working is actually, it's not just using that average view duration or that average click-through rate, it's using the performance data as input, but ultimately trying to understand and predict for each viewer. It's kind of similar to how recommendations work outside of recommendation systems. When you want to figure out a movie to watch, one thing that I do is I talk to my friends and I say, hey, what have you seen lately? What do you want to see? And the recommendation system, sometimes we describe it as automating word of mouth.
I love that.
And by that we mean the system is able to understand what other viewers like you have watched, and then based on understanding what they enjoyed and what they didn't, it can help when it's time to give recommendations to you to pull in sort of like those recommendations from other people. The nice thing about it is that can come in multiple ways.
Yeah.
So maybe like right now there's a video that reaches a certain audience, but then like in 6 months there's something else that's related that pops up that makes this video relevant again. Fortunately, you know, our system is enabled to be able to recommend that again if it's relevant and maybe to a different audience than enjoyed it the first time.
You've given me examples of that in the past where somebody will search for like a certain kind of video and find one, and you'll be able to identify more audience, or something will pop up in the news and suddenly people are more interested in it, or a big creator will make a video on it and then people will see that and say, like, all these new ways where videos can find new audiences.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of like nostalgia as well, where there's just been enough time since people have thought about something, and then somebody kind of rediscovers some trend or concept and they want to go back and kind of relive it through watching videos about that thing, and you see a resurgence of something that hasn't been popular for a while.
How much do you think about factors like time of day or device type, like if I'm on my phone in the morning versus whether I'm on the television at night?
The recommendation system uses time of day and device as some of the signals that we learn from to understand if there's different content that is appealing in those different contexts. And so as a viewer, you can see different results at the same time on your television versus on your mobile phone, as well as different results in the morning versus the day. We try to identify if you tend to have a preference for like watching news in the morning and comedy at night. We'll try to lean into that. We'll try to learn from other viewers like you if they have that pattern, so that we can see if that works well for you. And all of it comes together to really just give the right content to the right viewer at the right time.
We often hear from creators like, what's the one number? Like, is it click-through rate? Is it watch time? How do creators like optimize for all of these factors?
One thing to understand is that there's no single answer to that question. As much as creators would love to have one, the reality is that we've enabled the system to learn that different factors can have different importance in different contexts. Watch time may be more important in television versus mobile, or maybe more important in certain types of content like podcasts as opposed to music. Like, does it really matter whether a music video is 4 minutes and 30 seconds versus 4 minutes in terms of a viewer satisfaction? Maybe watch time isn't really as important as something like a like in that context.
Sometimes when people hear about algorithms, they conflate that with just like engagement at all costs. But one of the things I love about YouTube is that it doesn't seem laser focused on just getting the maximum amount of engagement possible.
Yeah, so for quite a few years now, we've learned that not all time spent with video is equally valued by our viewers. We get feedback that viewers want some videos to be a lot more efficient in getting to the point in the value that they get from them. And so while we do look at how long people watch videos, it's only one of the factors that we consider when understanding the value people are getting. We introduced this concept of satisfaction quite a few years ago, where we're trying to understand not just about the viewer's behavior and what they do, but how do they feel about the time they're spending? What would they say about their experience watching a video? We ask them directly with surveys built into the product. We collect millions of responses and feed that directly into the recommendation system so that we can recognize when creators are delivering kind of more value per minute or more total value than maybe the time spent would indicate otherwise. And so we look at things like likes, dislikes, these survey responses. People can tell us they're not interested in certain recommendations. We have a variety of different signals to get at this satisfaction. And we've seen that when we add those signals into the ranking, that it actually leads to people coming back to YouTube more in the long run. And that's really what our goal is. It's not just to get suck a lot of time from you today. That's not the point. The point is, like, we want to build a relationship with our audience, just as creators want to do with their fans, so that we can have viewers keep coming back because we're delivering a lot of value to them in the long run.
So for creators, do you think it's less important to look at absolute, like what's your CTR, what's your watch time, and more like how they're currently performing and how they can improve based on their metrics and not like a universal sense of metrics?
Yeah, I think creators seek out benchmarks because they want to know, like, is this good? I totally understand that. Unfortunately, like, the reality with the way the metrics work and the fact that they're kind of dependent on who saw the video and how broadly it was distributed, it's really the ultimate CTR you get, or the ultimate absolute watch time you get, it's not really comparable like across channels, and it's even sometimes challenging to interpret when you're comparing across videos within the same channel. Increasingly, while we do provide those metrics, I would take a step back and also think about your higher level goal as a creator.
Yeah.
And oftentimes creators talk to us about views, they talk to us about building up subscribers, or maybe they have goals that are about, selling merchandise or something else. And, maybe for those goals, the number of views you're getting is ultimately what you care about.
Or the quality of the views, or the conversion rate of the views, or
Right. And so if you are struggling a bit with the depths of, all the different types of data, maybe just take a step back and say, okay, well, just as one example, would you, as a creator, rather have a video that has a 20% CTR and 10,000 views?
Yeah.
Or a 5% CTR and 100,000 views?
Yeah, absolutely. The second.
Right. Which video do you think was better?
The video with 5% and well, I'd have to look at a lot more metrics to give you a real answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, as a creator, I would be satisfied with a video that reached a larger audience. I might be looking at, is there an opportunity to reach an even larger audience by making the thumbnail, more appealing?
Yeah.
But given that it's achieved my goal, that's probably the most important part in terms of like comparing those two videos. And so, don't forget to take a step back and look at the big picture, because those view numbers and those impression numbers, they encapsulate all the factors that go into the recommendation system. So if it's performing relatively well in terms of CTR versus other videos that your audience or the new audience might be interested in, it's going to end up getting more impressions because it's going to rank higher in the feed.
Yeah. What about multi-language audio? We have creators now, for example, are uploading.
First, make sure that your titles and descriptions, that you're also uploading translated titles and descriptions, so that when we recommend or return and search these videos in different languages, users can see those and know what they would be clicking on. The second thing is to recognize that there's benefits from having more of your catalog available.
8 years, but like the things people are currently watching.
That's right.
I think that's great because you talked before about the power of series and giving viewers a journey and the ability to have things that they're gonna, if they love this video, what's the next thing they're gonna want to watch for you? And that just seems to translate into the multi-language as well. We talked previously about like the recommendation system, and sometimes views can go down for videos. We sometimes hear creators talk about views going down channel-wide as well. What are some of the things you look to when creators are talking about ebbs and flows in views?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is that it's natural, and just because your views on your channel are going down in a particular period doesn't mean that like your channel is going to die and go to zero. We see many waves of interest in channels where audiences might kind of binge for a while on a particular channel and then move on to other channels for a while, and many channels that go down quite a bit will then come back up quite a bit. Unfortunately, we don't hear as much from creators when their channel is like anomalously blowing up. No one complains, but then when it goes back to another. Goes back down, creators get concerned. But so the first thing is to just recognize this is natural. It's not particularly reasonable to expect that you're going to always be at your highest level of views from all time. That doesn't mean that it's the end of the career. It could just mean that wasn't as good as your all-time best. So it's normal. I would encourage you not to worry about it too much and just focus on what can you do to continue to evolve, respond to the feedback you're getting from your audience and from the analytics. Sometimes you may need to move on from a particular format or topic that has worked well for you in the past because the audience has been saturated on that particular area.
A couple of things you've told me have been very helpful. One is don't just look at the current month in analytics, but go out to the year to see if maybe there are spikes and returns to normal, or a couple of years to look at seasonality.
Yes, we do see seasonality can play a role.
At the subscription tab, because that's a way to see how your core audience is reacting without any involvement from the algorithm.
Right, so the way that works, the subscription tab is just a chronological feed of that viewer's channels that they've subscribed to. So it's a pretty consistent audience that's going into that tab to catch up on their subscriptions that doesn't have any sort of like dynamics of the recommendation system in it. And so I encourage creators to look at that is because it's kind of a controlled little area. And then you can look at like, well, what is the click-through rate and what is the average view duration of subscribers who are looking for those videos in their feed. And it can give you a little bit more of a benchmark to kind of on the content in an apples to apples.
Yeah. Is it me or is it the algorithm?
I would just look at it, compare your videos. It can help you understand, oh, well, people aren't clicking on this in the subscriptions feed as much as they did my last video. What can I learn from that?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the thumbnail or the intro to the video.
Or the topic's not as broadly appealing. Because I think sometimes people forget that, like, you can only, you'll recommend a video to an audience, but some videos naturally have a smaller audience than other videos, or they have a much more narrow focus, or just the broadness of appeal is different.
That's right.
Earlier this year, some of the talks that we did at VidSummit and VidCon, you mentioned bringing more large language models into recommendations. How is that working?
Yeah, so for those of you who have played around with Gemini or ChatGPT or some of these other chatbots, the technology behind them is a large language model. We've applied the large language model technology to recommendations at YouTube to attempt to make them more relevant to viewers. How does this work? In a couple different ways. One, because the models are larger, and what that enables them to do is develop a deeper, more nuanced understanding of content and of each viewer. And so rather than just kind of like understanding like, oh, this video is about Indian cooking, it might actually be able to understand the ingredients of the dish better and maybe some more elements of the video style and how it's presented or the emotions that the creator might be conveying. These are all things that a larger model could enable. Smaller models tend to rely a lot on what we call memorization.
Okay.
So it might memorize that this video tends to be good with this type of viewer, for example. Whereas a larger language model can learn a more generalized pattern of, rather than just like this single video with this audience, it's like, oh, this type of video, and this, and the patterns could be much more nuanced. So to use an analogy here, taking the cooking example, a small model that's memorizing is kind of like a cook that is reading from a recipe. It's like a fixed set of instructions, and I'm going to make this this dish, and the fact that I can execute those instructions doesn't necessarily mean I'm an expert chef. So the more generalized, larger model would be more like an expert chef that can not only follow recipes, but understands the fundamentals behind cooking, and they can more dynamically respond to different conditions. So like, rather than just following the recipe, well, what happens if somebody comes in and they say, oh, I'm allergic to that ingredient, or I don't eat meat.
Yeah.
And now you still have to serve them up a dish. The chef, who has more nuanced understanding, will know what ingredients to substitute that are still going to make a delicious dish. So that's how I kind of think about this new technology enabling our better recommendations. We want to be more like the expert chef and less like the, just following the memorized recipe.
Todd, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed talking with you.
But at times they can get a little aggressive to try to discredit you for what you know, what you studied on your own, and what now more larger platforms are actually speaking on. And here's the thing, YouTube has always had an issue about looking down negatively on a small content creator, when in fact small content creators are full with knowledge and information. It's just that the fact of the matter is they just do not have the eyes as you do. So therefore, people who have just slightly more larger platforms than you seem to think they're well more knowledgeable than you because of numbers. But here's And also another thing, some people have numbers, and not to say everybody do. Some people have numbers because they bought them. Some people have numbers because they paid for advertisement. Even YouTube offer where you could literally advertise a video to gain more subscribers. That doesn't necessarily mean you know what you're talking about. Well as people did sub for sub. And this is why a lot of the new system change is in effect now in order to kind of control sub for subbing. So really a vain metrics is looking at subscribers. Just use subscribers as you're trying to get to whatever goal that you're trying to get to. And on this platform, I would hope and think that 1,000 subscribers is your goal in order to become monetized. Outside of that, subscribers, the more subscribers you have, the harder your information will get. As YouTube say, pulled in to the platform, as I say, pushed out to the platform. Because if they're your subscribers, especially if they have that bell on, I did a video yesterday and I was talking about ring my bell. Well, if they have that bell turned on, they're gonna automatically get notified about your uploaded content. But if they don't have the bell on, which a lot of subscribers do not have, then they're not going to be made aware that you're actually watching that video out, especially if they're not constantly watching your content. Because the way the new system is set up, if they're not watching your content, then your content will not be there. Unless maybe you inadvertently talk about something in your content that will draw the new machine learning AI system or large language model to their particular platform. And some of it can be triggered by their name of their channel. Like if you're saying stuff that the system is reading from you and learning from you, and it attaches it with their channel, it then might show stuff about what they're talking about on your channel. Or if you yourself is constantly talking, the creator is constantly talking about a subject that other people like to see, then quite naturally it's going to show up on your search engine. So when a lot of content creators be trying to say, well, my stuff pop up right next to this person, of course it does, because you're watching that person. So it's going to pop up because you're and looking at that other content creator quite often. And so it is tailoring it to you. It's not tailoring it to other people. It's tailoring it to what you're doing. So just because a content creator tells you, oh, my stuff popped up next to the person I'm talking about, has absolutely nothing to do with other than the fact that's your behavior. And you were the one who caused that video to pop up, because that's the way the system is designed. And you have to understand the system and how it actually works in order to be able to really understand what is going on. That's
changed. If you're still relying on outdated tips and keyword hacks, then you're leaving views and subscribers on the table. This year, YouTube's algorithm is smarter than ever. So what actually works now to get views and grow your channel? In this video, we're going to be covering the newest SEO strategies to help your videos rank higher, get discovered faster, and grow your channel without wasting time on things that no longer matter. We're going to be covering the number one ranking factor that YouTube cares about, the difference between keywords and tags on YouTube and what really matters, the biggest SEO mistakes that might be killing your channel, and a step-by-step strategy for helping you get more views and subscribers fast. Over-reliance on tags and researching competitors' tags. Here's the facts. Tags have minimal impact on YouTube SEO today. Back in the day, people would copy competitor tags in an attempt to rank higher, but now YouTube prioritizes audience behavior over tags. So the bottom line is tags are nearly irrelevant. What actually matters is the content quality, the retention of the video, and smart keyword use in your title and your description. And so while it's a waste of time to copy your competitors' tags, it's not a waste of time to study your competitors' content. What titles are they using? What topics are they covering in their videos? Which videos are performing best on their channel? And how are they structuring their videos? What kind of engagement are they getting? The content itself can be very insightful for your next video. Now, another myth and an outdated YouTube SEO tactic that I actually see a lot of YouTube gurus talking about still this year, which really kind of blows my mind, but it is naming your video file with keywords. And so the theory here was that after you shot your video and edited it and exported the actual file, you rename the file to be like best-walking-pad-review And that's just a waste of time. Now, to be fair, it's not a waste of time for your own file management and organization on your computer or hard drive or external hard drive, but it's not going to help your video perform better. Here's the truth. YouTube does not use file names for SEO anymore. What YouTube does now is it actually scans the content of the video. And it's pretty wild what YouTube and the parent company Alphabet and Google actually can see when you upload a video file. YouTube uses AI and machine learning to scan exactly what is inside of your YouTube videos beyond just the metadata. In fact, they can see these 5 things. Spoken words. YouTube auto-generates captions and analyzes the transcript for keywords. On-screen text. If you edit text into your videos or if you share a presentation of some kind with PowerPoint slides or Keynote slides, AI can read the words in your video. Also, visual elements. Google can recognize objects, faces, locations, logos, and even your tone of voice. And the 5th thing is engagement data. How viewers react to a video once it's public. It's looking at the likes, the comments, the watch time, which is going to affect how YouTube recommends the video. And so the reason this matters for creators is you just can't fake YouTube SEO anymore. Changing your file name is a waste of time, at least in terms of influencing how your video ranks and performs. And what's actually more powerful than changing the video file name that you're uploading is actually using the keywords that you want to rank for in the video itself, or even showing products on screen that you're going to be talking about. If you can edit in B-roll and you can make a rich content experience for the viewer that Google is scanning and seeing like, wow, this video is thorough, it's educational, there's a lot of good information in it, that's going to be better optimization in today's world. Now, the 3rd outdated SEO tactic is using exact match keyword phrases in your titles instead of natural, highly clickable titles. So stuffing the exact match keywords in your title feels robotic and it ultimately hurts clickability. So in the past, people would write a title like for a video like this, best SEO tips, YouTube SEO strategy for ranking videos, and that just doesn't work very well anymore. The reason for this is YouTube's AI and algorithm has continued to evolve. So it can understand things like natural language as well as synonyms. So if the key concepts are included in your title and related phrases, really, you don't need to force exact matches. Even more importantly, titles need to be engaging and not just optimized. So a keyword stuffed title might rank, but if no one clicks, it won't matter. You're talking to humans. And so you want the metadata, like a keyword phrase, to be in your title, but then around the title, you want it to be an experience that's interesting and highly clickable by real humans that would click on the video. And CTR, which means click-through rate, is king. YouTube prioritizes videos that people actually click on and actually watch. So what you can do instead is make sure your title is compelling and curiosity driven. Use natural conversational language, and you can still include keywords. In fact, you should, but you want to blend them in smoothly. So an example, if we're still talking about walking pads, is best walking pad review, walking pad treadmill review. Pretty boring, right? Keyword stuff, as opposed to something like, I tried this viral walking pad. Is it worth it? Question mark. Curiosity driven, you put a good thumbnail around that idea and you have a video that can be anchored in what people are searching for, walking pad or viral walking pad, as well as something that could be suggested by the YouTube algorithm. Number 4 is keyword stuffing in descriptions. And so the big idea here was that people would do their research and they would get as many phrases, best camera for YouTube, cheap cameras for YouTube, and they would just stuff as many keywords as possible in the description. And the truth is, this just does not fool YouTube, and it can actually hurt your video performance. So in today's world, YouTube actually prioritizes natural language, even that's written in your YouTube description. The algorithm understands context and synonyms, so repeating the same keyword over and over looks spammy. Furthermore, it's a bad user experience. Let's remember that the point of building a YouTube channel is to connect and help real people, to build real community, and every piece of content you put out there is an experience with you and your brand. So if your description is just packed with a bunch of meaningless information and huge blocks of text, then it's really not giving an individual a good experience, and low engagement on your video will lead to low rankings. And ultimately, we already learned that YouTube's AI scans your content. It listens to your video, it analyzes your captions, it checks your behavior, so stuffing keywords won't help. Now, one cool thing that will help is including the best keywords in your description in a nice, easy to read block of text. In fact, here's a cool way to do it. So what we're gonna do here is quickly optimize our video and description with keywords in a natural way of flowing language using vidIQ. And so this is a YouTube short, but I'm just gonna use it as an example. It's about something else, but let's say I wanted to do a video on the best budget walking pad on Amazon. And so what I can do is use their title tool, which is gonna give me really well-written, highly clickable titles that also includes the keyword. I found the best budget walking pad on Amazon. You won't believe the amazing features of this budget walking pad. I tried the cheapest walking pad on Amazon, and here's what happened. Great video ideas. So let's just say I found the best budget walking pad on Amazon, and maybe I put something in there like walking pad C2, which by the way is the walking pad that I purchased. It literally is changing my life. It's pretty amazing. If you're interested in it, other websites does not directly boost YouTube rankings. In the past, some believed, and I think it was true, that getting your video embedded on multiple sites would trick the YouTube algorithm into ranking your videos higher. It was the SEO concept of backlinks. But today, YouTube prioritizes user engagement on its own platform, things like watch time, people actually clicking on your videos, watching your videos, not just where a video appears externally. Which brings up the question, do backlinks still matter for YouTube SEO? And the answer is yes, if they still drive traffic that includes real viewers who actually engage with your video, then that can really indirectly help ranking. The point is, if these are individuals that are giving you watch time, audience retention, engaging on your videos, it's not just because your video is linked or embedded on somebody's site that your rankings would be boosted, but it is the fact that if that website drives a real individual to your video that engages and loves your video, then it's the on-platform metrics that matter. And the sixth outdated YouTube SEO tactic that doesn't just not work, but is also dangerous, is buying fake likes, fake comments, and fake views. And the reason for this is YouTube's AI is too smart. It can tell where traffic is coming from, bot views, fake likes, spam comments, and fake views do not equal real watch time. And so bots or low quality traffic that don't actually watch your video, then your watch time will tank, which will also hurt your video. You also have low engagement rates. If you buy 100,000 views, but you get almost no comments or real interaction, then YouTube will know something is off. And people like me will know as well, because we use tools like vidIQ, and we can sometimes see a spike of traffic and then it flatlines. You're like, oh, they purchased views up to that level. Or you could see the view to comment ratio, and you're like, something's off here. So real ones know, and so there's just no reason to do it. And also, you do run the risk of demonetization or bans. So YouTube can limit reach or even demonetize or delete your channel if you're violating their terms of service and you're caught manipulating engagement. So just don't do it. What you should do is focus on organic growth. Even though it's harder, it's better over time. Create valuable content real people want to watch. Boost engagement naturally if you can ask questions, encourage comments, and then promote your videos smartly. So share your video with the right audience on social media, email list, niche forums. Still sharing your video out there is great if you can attract people that are truly interested in the content.
So I made a video last night prior to making this one, and I wrote stuff down on a paper because a lot of people are visual people. They need to see versus hear what is being said. So I realize a lot of my videos strike up controversy, especially for people who are unaware and are uninformed and they just don't know. But instead of saying, well, I may not have known that, let me go check, everybody wants to discredit you as if you don't know what you're talking about, when you yourself have done extensive research on this stuff. So before... And even with me, I tell you, don't just go off what I say. Go research it yourself and then find out. And then by me bringing this information to you, once you go reach out and you start looking, it will start gravitating to you. And you will see probably some of the same things that I'm seeing. But the problem with most viewers, the problem with most content creators are we're creatures of habit and we just look at the same thing or whatever stroke our interest, such as breaking news that come out, almost like example, Shannon Sharp. You probably wasn't watching Shannon Sharp, but now that people that you watch are looking at Shannon Sharp, it's probably populating on your thing. And a person like Shannon Sharp that has a lot of eyes on him, if a person in the old system would have mentioned Shannon Sharp's name in their video on a trending topic, that would have instantly sparked a lot of people to get views, but not in this new system. If your viewers aren't watching that and your first line of defense is your subscribers, if they're not watching Shannon Sharp, then your video is not going to go out to everybody else because we're all in our own box. And how do we get in the other person's box? Either we have to attach something that we're doing like they're doing, or we ourselves have to go outside of our box and try to attach it back to our box. And then we'll see what is going on. You literally have to understand what is happening with the system. So SEOs are different. The way the AI machine learning system, I had one viewer tell me today, you're saying it's a new system. Your YouTube been doing AI for years. Well, not this system they haven't, because 2024 and now it's being implemented in 2025. It is a different type of AI machine learning, large language model that they are now implementing in on this platform. So you have to get out of the idea of just because you're hearing something that you never heard before, that automatically it isn't true, especially with the person is giving you detail and showing you what's actually happening, not just making assumptions because, oh, it might be happening to them, but something that is literally happening across the whole platform.
Parameters. So for example, we can now understand more parts of a video. So an analogy a good friend of ours, Todd Beaupre, uses is before, like, maybe YouTube knew how to follow a recipe and now it's better learning how to cook. So like, if you watch a video, that video might have a bunch of different nuanced topics, and just serving you videos that are somewhat similar, you may not like them. They may not be what's interesting to you, so you might skip those, and those creators would see that in lower CTRs. So what this is doing is letting us more precisely recommend videos to the right viewer. So maybe you're watching something and we think you like this kind of food, but really you like these specific ingredients. And once we can understand this is what you want, we can give you much more specific videos to suit your taste. So that's a better experience for you and a better audience fit for the creator.
And it basically, does the creator need to do anything different in their strategy, or are you just saying essentially using large language models, which, am I right to call that AI?
Yeah, I mean, everything, AI is like a blanket term for everything. Like there's machine learning, there's like neural networks, all these things. So yeah.
And so kind of like ChatGPT is a large language model, YouTube is more precisely looking at scripts,
yeah,
and looking at all the details that are in a video. So always fighting for better discoverability,
yeah,
getting the right information to viewers. How should the creator think about that strategically so they can get more views?
I think this one is more on the viewer side. It's more precision. So like, do you like dance videos or do you like salsa? Because maybe we're recommending generic dance videos and you're not interested in those. Now we understand you like salsa. We're giving you salsa videos. So like the creator is not going to like an audience that's not interested in them, and the viewer is getting exactly what they want.
I got you. So ultimately, when it comes to getting views, because
yeah,
we talk all about the algorithm, but everybody listening to this, like, I want to get discovered, I want to get more views. What's the best way to think about it in the context of understanding how the YouTube algorithm works?
Yeah, so I think it depends what stage of creator you are. Like, if this is the beginning, like if you experiment, you can start to try, like, first, of course, find what's passionate to you. You won't be able to do it long term, but like once you find your passions, experiment, and you can go to the audience tab and see what kind of videos are resonating with your audience, and then you can make more of those videos, but also videos that continue. I think people underestimate the power of viewer journeys. There are going to be some videos that acquire an audience, whether through search or through recommendations or through suggested traffic. There'll be videos that nurture your audience and give them more of what they want. There'll be videos that sell products for you. But you want to think of like, someone found my channel through this video. What's the next video that's just no-brainer for them to click on and watch? And what's the video after that? And so when you're building out your strategy, think about, this is a video that's going to get a lot of interest. But immediately at the end, and I want to say, like, go watch this video for the big picture, or go watch this video for the details, and you want to give them something to relate to. The more somebody who loved the current video will love the next video, the more likely they'll click on and watch that next video. I know some people think that's constraining, like the algorithm is forcing me into something, but it's the audience. You create an audience, and it's a total cliche, but like if you look at Mr. Beast, if you want a Mr. Beast video and you see that thumbnail and you click, you know exactly what you're going to get. You will be satisfied with that video. There's no risk. But if there's a channel that sort of makes random videos, it's like a restaurant that makes random food. Like, do I really want to go there tonight? I don't know. It's a bit of a risk. Do I want to click? Oh, I'm going to go click on this other video where I know what I'm going to get. So you start to look at retention not just in a video, but across videos.
So is that kind of like thinking about building your brand and reputation because people have a certain experience with the creator? You might have a one-off hit, but like with Mr. Beast, you know what you're going to get. If you have an In-N-Out burger, you know what you're going to get.
Yes.
And so if people are going to, you might get discovered because someone takes a risk with you, but you want to be thinking about how do I build a brand and follow up with a consistent experience in my videos. Do I have it right?
Absolutely. Like, you don't have to feel trapped because like you can grow over time. Like restaurants change their menus and experiment with things, and you can totally do that. But you want to sort of let the audience come with you. If you start giving them a bunch of things that don't really relate to them, it's like if you imagine a TV show like that doesn't have like consistent episodes. It's always a different show. It's hard to get people to watch week after week after week. And if you do want to do more variety content, think of an overarching framework that people can attach to. So you look at like Dr. Mike or Legal Eagle. They do movies, they do interviews, they do reactions, they do news, but all of it is like for lawyers or for doctors. So those people can always relate to that channel, even if the type of content changes.
So if you want to get more views this year on YouTube, you say one of the things you want to understand is psychology. How do you make something a big topic when someone doesn't think about, well, I never went to school for psychology. I don't talk about psychology with my family at dinner, but it's a big deal if you want to be a successful creator. What are the ways to think about understanding viewer psychology to get more views?
Yeah, so like start just looking at the audience tab and analytics and see what is growing your audience. It'll show you like high, moderate, low, and those videos are telling you something. You can go in and look at the comments and see what people are reacting to. You want to figure out what they like about you, what they love about you, what is distinct about you that they're getting that they're not getting from any other channel, because attention is hugely competitive. There's almost infinite content and very finite attention. People have to make a lot of choices, so why did they choose you? Once you understand why they're choosing you, you can start giving them more of that love. And it's not sort of like, people don't always remember exactly what every video is about, but they remember how you made them feel. And so you want to figure out like, what feeling am I giving my audience? That'll even let you shift around in topic more, but you're still giving them that same feeling.
You're a creator yourself. What is your routine when you're planning a video and shooting a video? You grow multiple channels to hundreds of thousands of subscribers. If there was a practical for creators getting in the right mindset to create a feeling, or how some of this stuff goes into their planning so that their video ends up being a better product that ends up getting more views and creating a better viewer experience.
Yeah, so I mostly cover technology. So my content strategy was driven by the news. And so there's different ways that you can play YouTube. And if you're topical, then your videos have a shorter shelf life. Like there's interest when the news is high, and then over time it dissipates because people move on to the next news story. So that's a very different path. That's like you have to start making more videos because there's new news every day, every week. It's a little bit of a grind. And I would just try to think like, what is the most interesting story of the day or the week? And what is the most interesting angle? And then I would try to do deep analysis because there was a lot of people covering it superficially. And I thought like my differentiator was going deeper and giving people like more explanation, not the what, but the why. Like I think what is sort of easy, but why is a lot more hard, like more difficult. So I would sort of focus on that. But you can, like, some people do really well with evergreen videos that maybe they do them once every week, 2 weeks, a month, but that video accrues views and AdSense for months and years, several years sometimes. So you have to pick sort of what your strategy is going to be going in.
Now, some people say subscribers don't matter or subscribers are dead. Is that true?
So again, like, what is your goal? Like, I think one of the things that's really helpful on YouTube is to figure out what your goal is. Like, there are some people with low views and low subs who convert on product and make a fortune. So like, if money is your goal, maybe you don't care. But for some people, subs really matter. Whether it's a vanity metric, whether they want plaques, whether they want to like be the biggest like quote unquote creator in there. Like, there's something that's affinity to them. if someone subscribes to your channel immediately, it's a strong signal that they're interested. If someone subscribed 10 years ago, they may not have watched you in 5 years. So it's really a relative indicator. I have a friend, Dave Wiskus, who says like the subscriber number is all the money you've ever had in the bank, which is an interesting number, but it's not as interesting as how much money do you have in the bank right now, which is your monthly unique viewers or your returning viewers. So I think like in terms of channel health, looking at your current viewership is way more beneficial.
Got it. And that's something that if you're listening to this, you can go into your YouTube analytics, not just look at your total subscriber count, but look at your monthly unique viewers. That's the actual impact of your channel this month. You're saying that's a much better health metric.
Yeah, for like just your channel, but like there are vanity metrics, and sometimes sponsors care about the subscriber number. Sometimes industry events care about your subscriber number. So growing it isn't bad. It's like having the box office record. You know, like you're the highest paid actor. So those vanity metrics are important, but I wouldn't like plan your channel strategy around them.
A lot of people really want to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. In your opinion, what is the fastest way to grow a YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers?
Yeah, so if you just want like max subs going up right on the angle, be consistent. Like again, like plan store like journeys for your viewers. Someone comes in to watch a video, they should be able to watch 2, 3, 4 videos immediately after that. Should be able to binge you. Binging is probably the fastest way to grow a channel. So instead of just jumping around, and I don't know if we talked about this before, but like you take a channel that's help based, and if you do how to fix your washing machine one day and how to fix your refrigerator the next week, it's very unlikely people are going to have those two problems back to back. So you're limiting, like someone who clicked on that will be recommended the next video. Like I don't have a fridge problem, but if it's like how to fix your dishwasher, best parts to fix your dishwasher, how to make sure you don't need to fix your dishwasher, then people who watch those videos are going to have 3, 4 videos to keep watching.
Yeah, these are a lot of deep strategic thoughts. And if you're getting value, smash like. And if you listen on audio to the Think Video podcast, rate, review. Shorts view count has changed, mid-roll ad placement, and there's some other algorithm misunderstandings, and even talking about shadow banning that we'll do a little bit later. But let's cover some of these new updates. Shorts view count revision has happened recently. What has changed in terms of how YouTube Shorts work and how views on YouTube Shorts work?
Sure. So the metric previously defined as views was intentful. So like if you click on something, you have an intent to watch it. But if something autoplays or something shows up in a feed, it's harder to gauge like, did you really intend to watch that? So previously to count as a view, you'd have to watch that for a short period of time. It could, like that period of time could change depending on the context. And we never want any way to game the system, so we didn't give exact numbers. But you'd have to like basically click on it with your intention by watching it for a short amount of time.
1, 2, 3 seconds.
Notice he said they didn't give you exact numbers. They know exact, but enough to give you
that became a Shorts view.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was sort of not the usual way that it was done. It wasn't what a lot of creators expected. And we kept getting feedback saying it's really hard for me to judge performance of my short form videos across various platforms because you're counting views differently, because a lot of places count views as impressions. So what we're doing now is if your video shows up in the feed, that counts as a view. We're keeping the old view metric now, and we're calling them engaged views. So you'll be able to look in YouTube Studio and see like the raw view count, which is how often you appear in the feed, because for some people that's hugely important in terms of their reach. And then you'll be able to see engaged views, which is what we still calculate like ad rev sharing or YouTube Partner Program eligibility from.
Do 100% of creators have sight to that right now?
They should. Like I'm not sure how long it's going to take to actually roll out all the updates in YouTube Studio, but we started rolling that out earlier.
Got it. So basically, there will be 2 view count numbers in the back end of your YouTube Studio that you can analyze when it comes to YouTube Shorts to kind of have a better understanding of performance of your YouTube Short.
Yeah, so you can look at views to see how often it showed up in the feed compared to other platforms, and you can look at engaged views to see how many people, and also we have viewed versus swiped away, so you can see how many people actually stayed around to watch it versus just swiped away immediately, which is like CTR for Shorts.
One of the questions on people's minds is it was announced that YouTube was going to 3-minute shorts.
Yeah.
And that has been officially rolled out, but yet I think some creators are experiencing, is it really rolled out? Is it, as the algorithm really recommending, is this thing dialed in yet? Where would you say the progress of that is?
So yeah, we did make the change so you can create, and we have the creation tools updated now, so anyone can go in and create up to a 3-minute short. I think it's going to take time just as people create more and more of them, because the algorithms are learning and they're understanding better. And I think some people are going to like get into like, I want really quick shorts. Other people are going to be like, I want to learn more, I want to dive deeper, and they'll have longer shorts. And I think like, it's important to be able to serve people both of them so that nobody, like, you should be able to go deeper or you should be able to change the channel is like the way that it's thought of. But I think like just over time we're going to get better and better at recommending both.
So it'll be a process.
Yeah.
Now, is it true, my experience when I connect music natively and I open up my YouTube Shorts creation on my phone and I film or upload video that I shot somewhere else, that when I attach a popular song, I feel like I'm still limited to maybe 15 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, the music hasn't changed yet.
The music hasn't changed. Whereas YouTube has a licensing agreement, right, with different music, so you can integrate properly connecting a popular song on a YouTube short. But I do feel like on Instagram you can go longer if you're creating a reel. Is that an ongoing evolution? I'm sure as it is with every platform. Do you think that'll catch up?
Yeah, we haven't announced anything about that yet, but if you do want to go longer, like there's a variety of music that you can license to make longer shorts with.
So you could, I mean, if you just do your own music, or if you select songs that aren't popular songs.
Yeah, or like people use a variety of services. Some of them also offer popular songs in them.
I got you too, like maybe like a Licked, or of course Epidemic Sound for other type of royalty-free music. I got you. Another update and kind of a new change to YouTube is mid-roll ad placement, and there's been a lot of buzz over this.
Yeah.
People are kind of maybe were a little bit concerned previously, or people are trying to game the system, adding endless mid-roll ads that might interrupt the viewer experience. Sometimes, if you let YouTube do it, it seems like, of course, that's an algorithm, that's an AI, and sometimes it'll only be a few ads, maybe not that strategically placed. Or I've seen that maybe the way you do time codes or how long the content is, sometimes it's pretty excessive. But the big idea too was there's no guarantee the ad will play.
Yes.
Because YouTube they want to have a great viewer experience.
Yes.
So that's kind of what it was previously. You can either auto do mid-roll ads or you can manually do them. What was the change?
So over time, people started watching longer content and also watching on television, which means previously, for example, if you watched 5-minute videos, you could get 6 of them in half an hour, and that's like 6 pre-rolls. But if you're watching two 15-minute videos or one 30 or like 45-minute video, you're only getting 1 pre-roll. So mid-rolls are becoming more and more important for those videos and those creators that want to monetize those videos. But like to your point, they weren't always being placed in great areas or areas that were interruptive or would cause a viewer to dip, and just they weren't performing well in those slots. And YouTube never gave creators information about that. So like people would put like every minute or more than that, and they had no idea whether an ad was likely or unlikely to serve there, because we are optimizing for the viewer experience. When a creator places an ad, I think a lot of creators thought wherever I place a slot, an ad is absolutely going to serve there, which has never been the case. It means that those are the only places YouTube is allowed to serve an ad, because like we want creators to have that choice. Like, and if you have like a sponsor segment, you don't want any ads to play during that, or if you have like a specific like speech you're giving, you may not want someone to have an ad there. So we limit where we can place ads to those slots. So if you place a bunch of slots, there's no guarantee an ad's going to play there. YouTube's going to look at the entire experience of that viewer and determine where the ads should play. So even if you and I watch the same videos, we could get very different ad slots. The ads serve depending on what we watched previously, how long we've been watching, a variety of factors. So essentially, it's like in the old days, there was no retention. So you could do a 10-second really cringe intro and never know like you were crashing your views, and then you got in retention graphs, and now you can see, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that 10-second intro. So now you can actually see whether a slot is likely or unlikely to serve an ad. You can still choose to put those slots anywhere you want. There's always a chance an ad might play. It's just unlikely if we mark those segments. So we allow you to we want you to just fine tune those. So you can move them a few seconds, you can move them like a few minutes, try to find like a natural breaking point, which might be like a pause, it might be a change in scene, it might be like a chapter, whatever feels natural to you, and then that'll be a better audience experience. We're also making it so you can use manual and automatic mid-rolls, because we realize some creators have like thousands of videos in their back catalog, and it's just not practical to go back and like tweak videos. So what I'm doing is I'm sorting by watch time or revenue, taking my top 20 to 50 highest performing videos, and I'm manually tweaking those, and I'm just leaving automatic on for the other ones. And the automatic system is going to be better in May when we switch on this new process. I think it's May 12th is the date, and it's going to be much better at finding those breakpoints than it currently is.
So May 12th, 2025 is the date where this new process will be switched on.
The new automatic ads.
The new automatic ads. Well, if you've already clicked auto, will it just change automatically on your back videos?
Yeah, so the new system is going to learn and is going to improve. And if you don't like them, you can still, like, for example, let's say auto put it in the middle of a sponsor spot, you can still go in there and delete that segment.
So there is, for creators listening to this that are monetized, that have a library, what would you say? You mentioned a few next steps, but you could give us some next steps. There's an opportunity to make more money, increase viewer experience, and spend some time optimizing back catalog. What's the ROI for people listening to this? And what would that process look like for them?
Yeah, I think, again, like, do that sorting, because there's probably, like, if you have 1,000 videos, a lot of them probably aren't pulling views, aren't pulling revenue for you, so leaving on auto is an okay way to just, like, get incremental revenue, because maybe across 1,000 videos is still enough money that you wanted, but not enough that you're going to go in, and then just focus on those 20 to 50, maybe some big channels, 100 videos, they're still pulling significant, like, they're evergreen videos, pulling significant views and revenue, and you want to make sure that you're getting as many opportunities. But, like, as you know, like, YouTube makes money when creators make money. It's a rev share, so YouTube doesn't want to tank revenue for anybody. We want to make sure that everyone has a better opportunity to earn.
Yes, that's a awesome update. Okay, there's a lot of algorithm misunderstandings. And a lot of creators feel like the algorithm is against them. I do want to talk about some algorithm myths, but first of all, is YouTube want to help small creators grow?
We started as a small creator. Everyone literally started as subscriber 0. Even the biggest creators on the platform started at subscriber 0, and they went from there. And you never know who's going to be the next biggest creator on the planet. So it's in nobody's best interest to like artificially limit or do anything but support creators. We try to let the audience decide everything. So there's no artificial boosting of anything. I think sometimes people think certain features or certain things are promoted. It's very rare. Mostly sometimes there's not a lot of supply of something and interest peaks. And so if you're making those videos, you see a huge upswing because there's few people making it, but then more people rush in to make it, and it sort of goes back to normal. So it can look like there's boosts and stuff, but generally YouTube wants the audience to decide like what they want to watch. Part of the experiments that we are running, though, the Discovery and Growth team, is taking 1 or 2 slots at the top of recommendations and finding channels that we think the viewer will be interested in that are either like low views and low subscriber channels, just to sort of help them find an audience faster. We want to still make sure they're good recommendations. There's not as much data, so they may not always be, but we want them to sort of find more data, find more audience, and help them grow.
One of the things I've noticed in my subscriber feed, and you can give me feedback on this, because it also might be based on my behavior, it's based on what I click on, it's certainly topical. I watch creator economy, entrepreneurship, business, marketing. I will get big creator, and I will get small creator.
Yeah.
And it might be under 1,000 subs, under 100 subs. View count might be only 50, 55, but I've seen view count 3 showing up in my feed. What's happening there, and what is the insight for the opportunity for someone that wants to start a new YouTube channel this year?
Yeah, I think like you want to get impressions. The way you get impressions is making videos, but like you have to. If we have an opportunity to put you in front of what we think is like the right fit viewer, that's a faster, better way for you to get those impressions and get good data on that channel. So I think the more we can do to sort of surface those things. Again, we don't want to give people bad recommendations, because then you don't click, you don't find something to watch. So you still want to be in the realm of what we think you're going to enjoy to watch. We want to give those channels a chance to find their audience faster if we can.
So what's actually happening there? It's usually me. If I'm showing topical interest, the algorithm works also off of personal viewer history and watch history.
And co-watching, like what if people who've watched the things that you've watched have also watched but you haven't?
Okay, and so that video is getting some kind of interaction, and people that have preferences similar to Sean might also be interested, and this is how anybody can start a new channel and get discovered.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see, like, one of the strategies people sometimes do is go after suggested traffic, which is making videos that would be a great video to watch after like a very popular video or a very popular topic has come up.
Yes, that's a great strategy. Now, what were some of the biggest myths you hear about the algorithm?
I think like the biggest one is always like the algorithm is out to punish me. Like if I make like this video didn't get as many views or subscribers as I wanted it to, or if I take a break, YouTube is going to hate me. If I make one bad video, they're not going to show my video anymore. And it's the same thing as before. Like YouTube wants everyone to succeed. There's no way to know what the next biggest video on the platform will be. And if we artificially limited any one video, it hurts everybody. Like it's not in the advertiser's interest, the viewer's interest, the creator's interest, YouTube's interest. So we want to give every video its maximum potential. But like at the same time, you can't force people to watch videos. So as a creator, it's our job to give like to sort of like sell ourselves because there's huge competition. Your thumbnail is going to appear there next to a Mr. Beast video or a Marquez Brownlee video or like any other Call Her Daddy video, like any big creator. And if someone's scanning that page, you want them to see your thumbnail. You want to grab their attention. You want to make a topic that is interesting enough for them to click on. So I think like when you just blame the algorithm, you take away your creator power, and it's the creator power that lets everybody succeed. It's our ability to like just connect with and vibe with an audience.
What would you say to creators that feel like YouTube shadow bans channels?
Yeah, so like again, like you can go into your analytics and look. Like the vast majority of people who say that, when you ask them, they'll go in, they'll show like, look at how many views I'm getting from. They're not getting them from subscribers; they're getting them from the algorithm, from the homepage. The vast amount of views happen from the homepage, and that's regardless if someone subscribes or not. They never have to subscribe to you as long as they watch and engage with your content. They're always where they're gonna keep getting your content on the homepage. I didn't want to say always because it's competitive. It's something when you could come on and serve that audience better than you, and you might have to adapt and change. But theoretically, as long as they keep watching you, they're going to keep seeing your content, and that's almost like a superpower.
So YouTube doesn't shadow ban channels?
No, like there's like some people say like the shadow ban me and ask them what it is, and they'll be like it's age gated, and it's because it's a mature topic, and if it's a mature topic, YouTube wants to be able to recommend things to a wide audience. Like if you're sitting with your kid in the living room on the homepage, want to make sure it's something that everyone there can watch. So there are videos that will trip things like age gating and stuff like that, or there might be videos that get copyright claimed and removed. So there's a vast majority of things where people might say, hey, my video is not performing up to my expectations, but we have like community guidelines and we have ad-friendly guidelines. We have all these things that you can go and look and see, you know, what's happening, and we'll almost always send you an email too.
I've heard that if you are somebody that's going to curse in your videos, you should not do it at the beginning. If it's 2025, the landscape does change.
Yeah.
Competition goes up, down. There's more opportunity. There's AI now. There's more tools. There's
Yeah.
more education. There's also more competition. So you have to play the current environment. If you were coaching a friend that wanted to start and grow a YouTube channel, what would be kind of like your 1, 2, 3 for YouTube success?
Yeah, so I would start by like making 5 to 10 videos that are on the subject that you're passionate about, so you'll continue making them, and try like a variety of different formats. Be a viewer. I think the most valuable thing a creator can do is be a viewer. Go out on YouTube, see what interests you, see what's working, what formats. Like there are formats like 1 to like 1 million, and you can do 1 to 100. Like there's like, or like I try. There's a lot of formats.
Explain what you mean by what a format is.
Yeah, so there are ways that people put together a video. It's almost like on television there's like a procedural, which is like two detectives investigating something, and every episode is like that. Right now, very popular on YouTube is like I tried every hamburger, I tried every French fry, I tried every airplane, I tried every video game. There's like someone who has some expertise in that topic, tries a variety of things and rates them. There's also like the 1 to a million or like 1 to 100, where somebody again who has some knowledge of the thing, or it's just an exciting thing, tries a variety of escalating versions of that thing, from like super cheap to like really luxe experience. And you like this versus that, like amateur versus professional. There's a variety of popular formats, and you see those by like just looking at popular videos on YouTube. See if any of those relate to you. Like don't copy them, but see what inspiration you can give. And like there's talking head videos, explainers. I sit there and explain a topic that I'm an expert in. Find people who are doing that really well. Find a few of them, see what's similar to them and what's really resonating with you. Make like 5 to 10 videos. Post those. See what's resonating. Like again, see what videos getting the most views, the best comments. Lean into those. Make videos that the person who just watched that video would love to watch, and then keep making those videos. Very few people blow up immediately. It's very rare. So take that time and like figure out every video what I can learn from this video. Don't just post and move on. It's not just repetition. It's conscious repetition. Where I used to journal every video. I would write down the things I didn't like. I would pick one of them and I'd iterate until I thought I got like diminishing returns. Then I'd pick the next thing. And you keep watching other people and see like what are they doing that's interesting, and you see how you can incorporate that. And then just keep iterating. If it stops working, figure out what's wrong. Go back. Try again. Like working your way through a maze. If it is working, just keep doubling down on it and get better every day, every video.
So step 1, do 5 to 10 videos.
Yeah.
Step 2, see which of those 5 to 10 videos resonated the most, comments, views,
Yeah.
and then be consistent. Double down on that, but continue to iterate.
Yes.
I've noticed creators seem to get stuck. I have a lot of people that will come in our community and they'll say, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, my views were here, and they've dropped. What's wrong?
Yeah.
What do you think, without even knowing the specific situation, what's typically wrong?
So there's 3 things that I identify quickly. One is that a lot of people just go to analytics and they see the month view and they don't change it. So change that to 3 months. See if you had like a viral video, because if you're only seeing the tail end of that, your views are dropping. But really what happened is you had an outlier performance and your views have gone back to hopefully above normal, but pretty much normal, and you're taking that as a dip. Also look at like 3 years and see if there's seasonality, because it could be like when sports season start or stop, when school starts or stops, when the holidays start or stop, you always go down or up, and you can make plans to bulk record or take vacations around those times, but you won't think like my views are just dropping. And the third thing is go to the tab. You can either go to trends, look at YouTube trends, or you can go to the audience tab, look at what other videos and other channels your audience is watching, because there could be new competition who are doing things in a fresh and interesting way. Like the audience never stops, so you can't stop either. It's not meant like in a grind way, it's meant like a creativity way. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, but also doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results doesn't work either. So you have to keep asking yourself, what are other people doing? And don't copy them again, but like think of like, how can I be even a step ahead of them?
That's the number one thing I noticed, is that the expectation that 2 years ago you were getting a certain result, you're still doing the same thing today, and you're still expecting your views to be that. You got to reinvent yourself. You got to stay on that cutting edge. Well, I do have one final question.
Oh, just like that's not a YouTube thing. Like it's very like bands get multiple hit albums to have multiple seasons of a hit TV. Like most TV shows start patterning out after a few seasons. Movie franchises, like it's hard to keep reinventing yourself, and sometimes you have that dip, which is what forces you to do the reinvention.
It's rare for a musician. There's lots of one-hit wonders.
Yes.
Or they have one-hit album. They maybe have a sophomore that does all right.
Yep.
But those that reinvent themselves over 5 decades, multiple decades, and continue to find relevance, and perhaps actually drift into maybe not obscurity, but just core fan base.
Yeah.
The majority feel like they disappeared for a while,
Yeah.
but they survived, they maintain core fan base, but then they might come back.
Yeah.
And if they can recreate multiple arcs of success,
Absolutely.
it comes back to this idea
Yeah.
of reinvention, staying creative. I do want to talk about probably some inside YouTube tools and analytic tools at the end on our final kind of section. But if anybody wants to follow you, connect with you, where can they follow you? We'll link it up in the show notes.
At YouTube Insider on all the social platforms.
And at YouTube Insider, that's you. And
Yeah.
then the YouTube channel, people should be Creator Insider.
We have Creator Insider and YouTube Insider and YouTube Creators. It's not confusing at all.
So there's 3 different channels.
Yeah. Mostly my videos are on Creator Insider or YouTube Insider.
Why is there 3 channels?
It depends on the audience. Like Creator Insider is really run by the product team, and they want to give you all the updates on product. But with YouTube Insider, I want to go a little bit more into content strategy.
Okay, awesome. So all similar audiences watch videos, and I want to talk about the research feature,
Yeah.
which is now called inspiration.
Yeah, I think we have both now because like research will give you more search-based and inspiration will give you more AI-based.
Okay, so let's break it down. So these are some powerful tools on the back end of YouTube that any creator
Yeah.
can use to get more views. One is similar audience watched in regards
Yeah.
to channel and videos. How should creators be using this?
I think like it's a way to see like if there are any blind spots because like you might have a bunch of ideas, but your audience is also watching these other videos, and maybe they're a topic you haven't done before. And again, you put your own spin on it, but it's just like an opportunity. It might be like packaging that seems attractive to you. Like you always think we know stuff, but the best way to actually know something is to keep testing it. Like keep holding yourself honest. You know, because like maybe your thumbnails have gone stale. Maybe you've missed something big and like that your audience really enjoys, and that's a great way to see what they're actually clicking on and watching.
So these are free tools.
Yeah.
It's just writing your analytics. The key is to go in now. Do you know how big your channel needs to be to even get these metrics?
It varies because it depends. Like so you can have like small subscribers but more views, more stuff. So it just like it needs a certain amount of data, and then it starts showing you those things.
So if you're a brand new channel, you might not be seeing this feature.
Yeah.
But if your channel's established, you can go into your YouTube studio. What's powerful here is, what would you recommend? Set aside some time on your calendar to go look at it and expose yourself to other channels your audience is
Yes.
watching. That's going to give you a lot of insight.
Yeah.
But also to look at the videos and the channels, like you said, what are they doing? What are their topics? How's their storytelling, editing? How's their thumbnails? You can do a surface level look into this, but if you actually take some time to analyze, like what would you do if you were to set aside, make a cup of coffee, set aside a few hours on a Saturday, and really do like a methodical research process? What would you do?
Yeah, so the first thing I do is like try to watch YouTube, not like what I like, but just like YouTube as a job. Like I go in there and I spend an hour, I try to do it every day, some days it's hard, and just see what's popular on YouTube. And it doesn't mean like the biggest creators, but there's all sorts of like really interesting trends. Like there was Cozy Comfort where people were watching like long form leatherworking and woodworking and camping, and just I want to see what's interesting on YouTube because there's maybe something I can learn and apply to myself. Maybe not, but like I want to see what's successful because there's different genres, there's different ways creators are doing it. What's like Ryan Trahan doing that's really interesting to me as a tech YouTuber, for example. Then I also try to look at what you were talking about, like look and see what other videos people are making, what blind spots I might be having. One way to think about it is it's not going to be great. Like it's going to spark ideas, but like one of the worst things for a creator is like the blank page. I have no idea what to do. I don't know what title to use. I don't know what thumbnail to use. So if you go into like research, you can see like what queries are people asking that are similar to what's on my channel, but nobody's really serving them yet. And maybe it's not a great opportunity. Like for me, it would sometimes be, oh, there's not enough content about the 5-year-old iPhone. And I'd be like, well, I won't make that video. I totally understand that it's a search gap. It's not for me, but oh, maybe I could do like, is it the right time to upgrade? So like it sparks those ideas. The research tab is similar. Like you can start going through there and exploring like what videos could I make? I'm a travel creator. I've done these. What's another place I could go to? And maybe it gives you 3 or 4 ideas. Maybe one of them like vibes with you. Maybe none of them do. But you're like, oh, that's not a right fit. But I just realized if I went to the next country over, that would be great. So a lot of it is just meant to be sort of like your jamming partner that you can just go back and forth with. Because not everybody has like like you on speed dial, but they can go in there and get like a bunch of information to be more or less helpful to them.
So then to be clear, you have these are free tools as well that
Yeah.
YouTube has added. Research has been there for a while. That's kind of SEO keyword based.
Yeah.
Search terms,
Trendy
topics,
things, yeah.
trending things. Inspiration's newer.
Yeah, inspiration is basically understanding like the data that YouTube has and being able to sort of have a conversation with it. So it'll recommend titles for you, it'll recommend thumbnails. It'll do like if you wanted to draft up like a script for you, it'll give you like bullet points for a script. And again, like, probably not great, but probably a starting point if you're looking at a blank page. You're like, oh, now I know what I want to do with my thoughts.
I've also seen it has a view predictor that will say it's like likely to get a lot of views on your channel,
Yeah.
kind of like a high, medium, or low.
Yeah.
And so you can sort of validate the idea before you invest energy into it.
Yeah, and again, like maybe your gut's telling you something different, but it'll give you like a good shot on what to invest in. And maybe sometimes, like again, goals. The smaller audience is super important, and you know they're going to convert better. So like, I don't want to make this big thing gets a lot of views. I want to make this small thing that sells a lot of product. So like, you can balance all those interests off each
Yeah,
other.
so these are some cool tools. To be clear, go into your YouTube analytics. You've got similar, your audience also watches these channels, your audience also watches these videos. You've got the research tool and the inspiration tool. And this is a good reminder for every listener to update your YouTube app and make sure you downloaded the YouTube Studio app or updated it because there's always new features. And some of those, it's a little bit different on desktop. Sometimes there's more nuance on desktop in terms of how those tools work.
Advanced analytics.
Advanced analytics
Yeah.
is on desktop, but on the app is the inspiration tab as well.
Yeah.
And I've noticed the experience is sometimes different. It actually seems the inspiration tab on my YouTube Studio app kind of leans shorts. And versus the desktop version of the inspiration app.
Yeah, I think it's trying to meet where creators where they are, and like a lot of shorts creators are mobile first, sometimes even main app first. Like they don't even look at Studio.
Totally.
So we want to make sure the tools are where the creators who use them most are most going to find them at least at first. We want to eventually get everything to parity, but there's always like trade-offs to be made.
Now, you could choose to not believe. You could choose to not to go out there and search for yourself. But you're going to choose to stay where you're at and not advance in the new system. Unfortunately, your mind have to change. Your mindset and the way you think of things have to change in order to progress. And you have to learn how to think outside of the box. You have to do things that you normally probably wouldn't do in order to have success in an ever-evolving system.
ranking factors that actually matter for YouTube SEO this year, all in one complete and concise list. Number 1, watch time and audience retention trumps keywords. The longer people watch, the better your ranking. Engaging content keeps viewers hooked. Number 2, CTR, aka click-through rate. Topic titles and thumbnails are critical. If people don't click, they don't watch. Number 3, study competitors' content. Instead, study their content strategy, their video formats, their engagement tactics, and the insights that you can learn and borrow that can influence your own content. All right, number 4, viewer engagement, getting comments, getting likes, and getting shares. YouTube boosts videos that spark interaction. So encourage comments and responses in your videos. In fact, let me pass a question off to you. What is one of the biggest challenges you're having on YouTube right now? Or is there a topic you would want us to cover in the future here on this channel? Let me know in the comments. Number 5, optimize your videos for search and suggested. Ranking your videos in search matters, but getting videos into YouTube's suggested and recommended algorithm is way more powerful. Number 6, realize YouTube's AI and contextual understanding. Know that YouTube reads your scripts, scans the visuals in your video, and detects intent. So keywords still matter, but they must be naturally woven into your content. Number 7, chapters and detailed descriptions, especially for educational content. YouTube uses timestamps for SEO, making it easier for viewers and search engines to find relevant parts of your videos. That's why a video like this includes what's called YouTube chapters. It's not just the entire video that can rank, it's individual parts. Number 8, personalization and session watch time. YouTube recommends videos based on individual viewing habits and rewards creators whose videos keep people on the platform longer. And so the creator who understands the viewer best wins, and the creator who keeps individuals on the platform longer by perhaps creating a video series instead of just a singular video is going to dominate. Number 9, external traffic and off-platform promotion. While backlinks do not boost rankings, bringing real viewers from social media, from email lists, from niche communities like Reddit or Quora can help push your YouTube content further. And number 10, freshness and consistency. YouTube favors creators who consistently upload and keep content fresh in search results, especially with trending topics. Bottom line, YouTube SEO isn't just about keywords anymore. You need great content, engagement, and optimization strategies to win this year.
But this is where this came from. I just wanted to kind of give a little backdrop on why I created this video and actually what is happening within and why I'm going this far. And some would say, well, who cares? Just if they don't want to hear it, then just forget about it. But my stance has always been on my channel to hear everyone's perspective. And if I can learn from them, I will. And if they can learn from me, I will. But the only way we can learn from each other is just to have an open dialogue. That open dialogue shouldn't come as, I'm going to discredit everything you say, or more, it should be just a question as to you got this information. Could you shed more light on what you're saying? I'm a little bit confused because this is what I believed, versus trying to completely discredit someone. And then when someone call you out for trying to discredit others, then you got a problem because you were just called out for what you were trying to do, basically. So and how I see that is, if you could dish it out, just be ready to take it. But with me, be ready to take it with facts. All right, y'all. Be your brothers and sisters keeper. I hope you enjoy the presentation that I showed you. I hope you learn. I hope you take what I've shown you and apply it to you the way you see fit, because everything is not going to shape for everybody. But the system is the system, and that is not going to change for absolutely anyone. Be your brothers and sisters keeper. Keep God first. And toodles.